going on, everybody? It is Chris from the Dog Pound Cruisers. Today we are at Second Gen Engineering. And what are we doing here? Well, we're going to let you know a little bit more about what Larry and Second Gen do inside the shop and some of the projects they're working on. So come on, folks, take a walk with me inside Second Gen Engineering right here at the bottom of Hackettstown Mountain in Hackettstown, New Jersey. All right, everybody, so I made my way inside Second Gen Engineering. Quick information about Second Gen Engineering, I don't know if you know. We're standing here with the man, Mr. Larry Middleton, and Larry was explaining to me that in order to have engineering in your name, someone here has to be an engineer, and luck would have it, Larry is an engineer. So hence the name Second Gen Engineering, where Larry specializes in a lot of different things. But specifically, he likes to deal with the Pontiac and Buick realm, which you have, correct, Larry?
We also do in the other makes of GM, and then, some of the imports here and there. Not a lot though. We did track BMW for a little bit. It was fun. We do enjoy spirited driving with different groups and on different road courses, and that's kind of what we like to do to your toy.
Now, I do know that, speaking of spirited driving, I mean, I did lean to the Trans Am thing because you got your beautiful gold Trans Am. And what a lot of people don't know about that car in particular is, you know, not only did you build that pretty much from the ground up, but that car is pretty well road course ready.
The intent of that car wasn't to be a prom queen. It was intended for open road racing and high speed runs. So everything in that car was made and designed to handle the rigors of those events. It just so happens that it came out pretty, but
but you know that
we're not easy on it. It definitely has broken some stuff, and we've learned from that, and we've improved over the years, and we can take that experience and relay it to you, the customer, and make your dream come true. Now,
I do know that one of the things you are really into is the functionality of the build. You know, I mean, I'm sure there's the engineer in you, but if somebody comes to you with something and they're, you know, I need a specific application, like whether it's quarter mile racing or road racing, or if they want just a spirited weekend driver, you can kind of help any kind of client achieve that goal, correct?
Correct. We like to speak and get a good idea of what the client wants, and then based on a bunch of questions we ask, we compile all that information, and then we kind of spec out the build to what's going to benefit what they want. Sometimes they don't know what they want, they know some of it. We help them out and say, you know, this is going to be a good combination, everything's going to be happy. We even get stuff in that's great stuff, it's not happy, it's not a team, I should say, it's a bunch of heroes. So we go through, and some of our stuff may not look good on paper as far as big stats, but when things work together, a team will outbeat an individual any day of the week.
So what you're saying then is that I think the way to put that is, you know, it doesn't matter, you can have a huge engine, but if you don't have the suspension or the framework to support that engine, maybe the car won't perform as well as it could have.
Right, the power won't get to the ground, suspension's not working properly, or you're taking forces and putting them in not where they need to be. So we look at the whole structure of everything. If we got to add structure to it, we'll do that. We'll even, you know, scale the car, and based on that we can select spring rates, different shock valving, and you know that's a big part in making a car perform is the whole suspension and chassis. We can always add big power, that's easy, but getting that power to the ground and making everything work uniformly, that's the troubled goal. And you know,
I think that's the engineering in everything, you know, it really is, because you know, you see a lot of big engine cars, or you see a lot of things that maybe are mismatched and don't quite work well together. And I think that's the one thing you want to take away from this video, if anything, is that when you come in and you visit Larry and you visit Second Gen, he's not just going to sell you something to sell it to you. He's going to discuss with you what your goals are and show you the best way to make that happen. It's really what it boils down to. It's not just going to be, oh, we're going to put this part in and hope that works. It's going to be a well laid out plan to say, this is where you want to be and this is how we're going to get there.
You hit it on the nail, exactly. And sometimes we even give you a couple of options like A, B, or C. And if you go B, we gotta do this and that. A, this and that. Sometimes it's not only just a single thing, but we'll also work with you to evaluate. This is gonna do this. This is gonna do that. And then, based on those answers that you provide, we can better spec it out for you. And then also know, like, hey, if we do this, we're going to have to do this and that.
And then it's budgeting options too, I'm sure. Option A might be a little more than option B, and or you could do it in stages. You could start here and work your way across, even if it takes a little bit of more time. You could kind of do it that way.
We've done it with different builds where we break them up and we do this and that. Okay, do this, but don't exceed a certain limit. Then come back and we'll do this. If we feel that breaking the stages and there's a component that needs to be addressed for safety and or that this is going to break, we'll have to do that. But yeah, we can break it up into different stages for economic purposes of the builds.
And what's interesting is that Larry does use obviously high quality parts. That's one of his biggest things. Is you can do it cheap, but that's not the right way to do it. And there's a lot of better ways to make the build function as it should and last the test of time. Which I think is one of the things you do here. And I've known Larry for quite a while. And some of the things you may not know is Larry actually created an EFI system for Pontiacs, which there wasn't one in existence, if I'm correct in that, right? Sort of.
Is the idea's been around. I haven't seen anything like this particular EFI system. Came to me. I saw a similar idea on a different application, not a Pontiac. I actually went to that company and I said, "Hey, here's my idea," and he said, "But I'll help you out, get you started." So I created a system that you can bolt onto a Pontiac engine and run a factory ECU, so you don't have to worry about an aftermarket company saying you have to buy stuff from us only or this is obsolete. This stuff is always going to be around, and it's tried and proven, and we've test driven it for several years now, made a couple revisions, and it's been flawless even with those revisions prior. We're very proud of it, and we're happy to offer it to anybody that wants it, either in a kit or we install it, which we prefer. And I think everybody that had it is thrilled with it.
And I'll tell you, so that's very interesting too. Like I said, Larry, having created that EFI system is a pretty good engineering feat in itself. I can't help but notice there's a turbo sitting here on the counter, and I love turbos, but why is this particular turbo here, and what is it going in?
Well, that particular turbo is to help an air pump. What's an air pump? An engine. Big air pump. If we get more air in there via turbo, we get more power. This particular turbo is going in an 87 Grand National that came in and spiraled into an engine build, an upgrade, and we're doing some few other things with it as long as an engine bay refurbishment. But yeah, it's going on 87 Grand National. Should be good for a conservative low 11 second, high 10 second quarter mile.
Yes, because that's conservative, folks. Low 11s and high 10s is conservative. Well, here's what we're going to do, folks. We've seen a couple of things in here. We talked to Larry a little about what he does here at Second Gen Engineering, but now we're going to take a walk outside in the shop and we're going to see some of the projects and things going on here at Second Gen Engineering. All right, so here we are in one of the corners of Larry's shop, and this happens to be the engine corner. This is where they actually build the engines. Larry does build engines in-house. So actually, what kind of engine do we have sitting in front of us here, Larry?
This is a Pontiac 400 with a larger crank in it, so the displacement comes out to 461. This was part of a 79 Trans Am that we wound up having to go through due to the last engine builder really build it per what the customer really wanted. So we went through it, redid some of the components on it, had to remachine stuff because of that, and here we're assembling it, and everything looked good so far.
Now, is this more of a mild build or like a factory style build, or just a little bit? I mean, the 461 obviously is more of a higher horsepower build.
This one for us, this is kind of typical. This is around It's an iron head, so this one's going to be 450 to 475 horse. Torque will be in the 500s. It's a nice street build for us. We can take these higher hour if needed. After a certain limit, we just go to an aftermarket block. We feel it's safer. Although the Pontiac block with also filling it is good for about 1,000 horse before it cracks in half.
Really?
Yeah.
1,000 horsepower. I never knew that.
Before you split it right down the middle.
Have you ever tested that theory?
I know we got a house.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
That's how I know that.
See, that's how Larry finds out his stuff. He actually, real world application is what that is, folks. So we have a look at everything here. This is the exploded view of the engine. Obviously, you can see that this is where the assembly happens. But now I think you do have an engine that's actually ready to go and assembled. So why don't we take a walk over and have a look at that?
Absolutely.
Across the shop, and we're looking at a completed engine and transmission combination. What am I looking at here, Larry?
This is a Pontiac 400. It's 400, that's it. And we put a roller cam in it. We don't do flat tappage, or prefer not to in this day and age. There's really no reason to. The gains on a roller far outweigh the cost increase from the tapper to the roller. So we went in, did that. The car is actually going to be dropped off tonight, so we'll be installing that. Maybe tomorrow, but more likely next week. And this is one of the upgrades we do here. My 6-speed. 4 gears are good. 6 have to be better. In fact, it is. You're out of the hole, so you get your around in the country roads, around town. The car is spirited, and then you also get your economy on your highway, which also goes up in gears. You can gain some good mile per hour, some top speeds. Should that be your cup of flavor?
I think you enjoy that. I think that, does your car have a 6-speed in it?
It does.
And of course it does. Larry is a spirited driver at the very least. Now this engine and transmission combination, which type of vehicle is this going in here?
This is going in a 76 Trans Am.
76 Trans Am. All right. And we have another Trans Am sitting next to us here. What do we have going on in this one?
This is
Like an unveiling of a project.
This is a 79 Special Edition Trans Am. The fellows had it for many years. It came in from body shop jail. We got it going in about 6 months. Then it got painted, came back. We kind of stay out of the paint in the body world. We'll do your fabrication. We'll get you ready for the body shop. We work with a few body shops in the area. Even if you have a particular one you like to use, we'll work with them as far as scheduling, getting the car there, and what we would like to get, how we get it back at. This motor, the motor you saw in the engine room, will be going in here. This car is also getting a 6-speed. We like 6-speed, and it's getting my new EFI system.
So with the EFI system, it's very daily sort of driver if you really want it to be. I mean, it's that consistent, I would say.
You can have a mild, you can have a radical motor. The EFI system, pretty much turnkey. We've got it dialed down pretty well. And it gives you all the benefits of a really, let's say, we'll pick a car, a 2000 Trans Am, a Suburban, what have you. You get in one of those, you turn the key, you don't think twice. We can give you that reliability in an old dinosaur motor. So you have your modern reliability with your old school sound and feel. So you have best of everything.
Which is kind of one of the things the second gen aims for here. It's not just the look of the vehicle and the functionality, but it's they take that classic old school vehicle and they make it to today's standards where you can just take it out and cruise and not have to think twice about it. Not pumping the gas to get it started per se.
Exactly. While it's part of owning a carbureted car, you get used to that stuff. But even if our modern daily commuters become more advanced, that becomes a nuisance. So if you can improve it, why not? Is it the most economical thing to do? No, but these are toys. These are not to be looked at as a profit or I'm buying and selling. Think of it in another way is I took my family to Disney World. Where's the ROI on that? There is none. Gone. I went to Ruth Chris. ROI down the bowl. So here, what we like to do is, you know, look at that point of view. This is entertainment. This is fun. It's something that you want. And
you know why? You can't do 100 miles an hour in Disney World.
we said certain roller coasters you might for a short period of time, but you're gonna wait in line before that happens. So, what we also do is, for this particular setup, we integrate it into the car. So on some aftermarket things that people sell you, it's just module on top of module, and you get a stacked mess. We eliminate that. One brain does it all.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk a bit more about what we do with that EFI system on their dyno. That's going to be coming soon. So we're going to talk about that in just 1 second. We're over on the other side of Larry's shop here in the back section, and I am standing in front of, well, it looks like, what was that, JJ. Dyno Mike.
That's right.
Dyno Mike. So we're standing in front of the dyno here, and so this is actually not quite installed yet. It's coming in the near future.
Right. Right now we're setting it up, getting its position set, seeing what other things we need to get another cars properly anchored on it. This is an inertia dyno. It's an eddy current dyno, not an inertia dyno. That's what you don't want. This is an eddy current dyno. It allows you to apply a load at most RPM ranges, and I could focus on different engine loads, different RPM ranges, and see exactly what's going on. So you have an issue at 3,000, we can focus on that. And we can also tune it better versus just getting on, flooring it, seeing what happens. So we can do the whole RPM range.
You can do that too, though. You can get on the floor and see what it does.
We can do that too. We're told it's limited to about 1,250 horsepower. After that, we got to step up to a different unit. For right now, we made the platforms, and eventually it'll be sunk into the ground. For right now, it's we're excited about it. It'll really help us dial in the cars, and it's fun. You do it on the street. But some of them, as you grow into bigger power and the more aggressive cars, the street's not the place to do it. And you really can't get repeatability on the street as well.
And I think that's interesting too, like you said, it holds the RPM range for you. So, I've had turbo cars in the past, and sometimes turbo cars, they have a lag at 2,500 RPMs and then up, and then there's a flat spot. So what Larry can do is he can put your car on the dyno, he can hang that RPM range for you wherever it needs to be, and he can kind of look over the vehicle and tune it out so it actually performs better. So there's not many of these dynos around, if I'm correct, right? There's
not too many. I know of a couple. I won't disclose where they are. But a lot of people have the inertias. But yeah, these are the ones you want, and also you gotta know how to use it.
That's true, and Larry is a tuner as well. So once this is installed, we are going to stop back and we're probably going to check something out performing on this dyno. But speaking of performance and things, we're going to take a walk over. We're going to look at a build that came in, need a little bit of help to be more functional. So we're going to take a walk over. So here we are. We're standing in front of a build here. Now this car was previously built, and as Larry put it, needs a little bit of critiquing, or a little more functionality per se. So Larry, what have you been doing to this, by the way, which is a very interesting power plant we have here?
It is. We'll enjoy our V12 Hemi here.
A V12 Hemi, and what's this car weighing? Maybe 2,800?
It scales around 3,500 pounds with the driver.
Which means I should not work at the carnival, by the way.
It's got a 41-59 weight distribution front to rear, which is a little rear heavy, but the cross weights are great. We'll see how it does on the road, but it was a fellow's dream, and he accomplished it. So kudos to him, and it's a very interesting vehicle. There's a few things that he had concerns about, so he came to us and said, you know what can you do for me? And so we came with some ideas back and forth, and we're addressing it so we can take the hood off and just with a simple disconnect, then comes off. the pedals, we had to adjust some of those. We do actually get a whole new gas pedal assembly, and do some, what we would call when we build the street rods. You can't just bolt the stuff in. There's always additional things that need to be made, taken into consideration, that are often overlooked. And a lot of cars get sold because they're just not comfortable to drive.
Yeah.
And that's then when we look at it, like, why have some if you're not going to use it? So it's got to be comfortable. And then this thing can go on its road. We'll do a little tune to it, so we can drive it, enjoy it for a little bit. And then in the fall, we're going to come back and we got some other more major revisions to do. Redo the fuel system and the cooling system. So that's going to be pretty neat to do. So stay tuned on more on this thing.
And what I find interesting about that is that kind of gives you a view of what they do here at Second Gen Engineering. It's not just building engines, transmissions with the 6-speed upgrades. It's not just the builds that are from top to bottom, suspension, everything. If you have an existing hot rod or classic and you just don't feel like it's performing like it should, you can bring it down here and you could have a discussion with Larry, and they can kind of set you up with the best way to proceed forward to make it enjoyable, as Larry said,
Yep.
So, I mean, as we saw, we checked out the dyno. He has that coming soon. We got some other projects coming soon, including that Grand National we talked about.
That's right. And we have a rally car coming in as well.
A rally car?
Yeah.
You didn't buy one, did you?
I did not.
I just wanted to check, because sometimes Larry comes up with some fun stuff. So rally car, that's kind of...
It's not really a rally as World WRC rally, but it is
still a rally car.
It's kind of cool.
Well, so Second Gen Engineering, they're located Route 46 heading into Hackettstown. They're actually right over the bridge there. You come down past East Ave, they're on the left-hand side, or if you're coming out of town, on the right-hand side, just after you come out of the center of town there by Willow Grove, going down the hill. Look for Second Gen Engineering. So again, Larry, we really appreciate your time today, man.
Thanks for coming in.
Your shop, giving us an idea of what you do. And what is your website again?
It's secondgenengineering.com, all spelled out, no spaces. And we also have a Facebook page as well.
What is your shop number, by the way, real quick? Shop phone number?
973-876-6524. If you go to the website, call the number, the Facebook, whatever, all the information's there to contact us via email, phone, snail mail. We still do that. So, we're glad to help you out. And even, if we can't help you, we can even direct you to somebody that can. But for the most part, we'll be able to help you out.
And I want to say that, the Dog Pound Cruisers, we definitely have some of the top level people within their fields, and Larry and Second Gen are certainly one of them. So keep an eye out, because we're going to come back with some update videos on that Grand National, and when that dyno gets installed, we will certainly be back. So again, Larry, thank you very much for your time. Second Gen Engineering, Dog Pound Cruisers. We'll talk to you again soon.